Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know that this is an episode that I recorded on a friend's podcast, and I really wanted to share it with you about the 5 steps to building a stronger mindset. I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to You Ask For It. This is the very first edition I do this year, so I'm very excited. And I'm very excited to start with a good friend of mine, a guy that I've been working with for a couple months now. And this is going to be really exciting. So, welcome to You Ask For It. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have this get together. My hope is to always bring value, to always bring someone who has some very cool insights to share with us. And today we will be talking about something very important, which is how to build a stronger mindset. And I believe Philip Session is the guy to do that. So my friend Philip Sessions, welcome aboard, sir. How are you?
I'm great, Dan. How are you?
I am good. I'm really excited. I'm in Florida. It's a beautiful day here.
Yeah, it's been beautiful here as well in South Carolina. A little hot, but that's all right. Been a great day so far and really excited to get in here and talk. And thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about mindset, which I love to talk about.
Man, thank you for taking the time on a Saturday, right? You could be doing so many things like running, jogging, cutting the yard, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, cleaning the car, taking care of the family. But where are you?
Right here with you, Dan.
This is really cool. By the way, guys, remember every Saturday at 2 p.m. We're going to be recording, we're going to be live and recording this new podcast. And today is about mindset. You know that you feel free to ask us any questions. We are live on all social medias. We are live on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. And if you put your comments in the chat in any of the platforms we are live, okay, we are able to see. Marcio Bastos, hi, my friend. I'm very good. How are you? I miss you, man. So feel free to send us any questions. If I can't answer, if Philip can't answer, we're gonna Google and bring you the answer. Just kidding. Jokes apart. So, Philip, today we are here to talk about on how we can develop, right? This is a stronger mindset. And you promised me that you would give us 5 steps and a bonus on how to develop a stronger mindset. So before we get there, you are the author of a book called Mindset Over Motivation. And I have the book here. I've read the book, okay? I have questions and I make my notes. That was a little bit about you, who you are, so everybody gets to know you. And also, yeah, and also I want to hear later why you decided to write a book about mindset.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely get into how I came around building or writing that book. But first of all, I am a native Texan, moved to South Carolina about 6 years ago, over here for engineering. And that's my background is I have a degree in electrical engineering, kind of went through that whole route, and I do bodybuilding on the side. So I did a bodybuilding show.
I knew you went to the gym, but I never knew you never post those pictures on your social media, by the way.
Well, this is actually part of this transition for me. So did engineering, did the bodybuilding, wanted to get into personal training, so online personal training, and I realized that there was more to it. I knew there was more to it, and I wanted to be able to teach that instead of just literally how to get you in better shape, help you lose weight, whatever that is, build the muscle. I wanted to help people with their mindset and leadership. And so that's where I made a transition into leadership. Hey, Priscilla, glad to have you here. And so I made that transition because I wanted to be able to help people out more with that, because I realized from my bodybuilding show that mindset is such a crucial thing to have, because your mind really controls everything in your life. Of course, you have to do the work behind it, but that's why I made that transition there. But a little bit more about me. Married now. We have a little girl on the way, so very excited about her coming here in November, and just really excited to be able to help engineers along the way, along this journey of being a stronger leader and building up presentation skills, so be able to communicate better.
That is so cool. But why specifically a book about mindset, especially the name? I was a little intrigued when I saw the name of the book. You see, mindset over motivation. It's like you have to pick one. And I was confused about that. So help me understand that.
Well, a lot of people, especially going back to the gym, that's a very obviously physical thing. A lot of people, they're motivated at the beginning of the year to go to the gym, to get in better shape. But you see, after 1 month, it goes away. And it's because they only had motivation. They didn't have anything behind that. Their mind was not strong enough to say, you need to go no matter what. Because every successful person, even though they may love what they do, there's days they don't want to do it. And it takes your mind telling you, you still have to do it anyways for you to do that. I mean, look at us going to our regular 9-to-5 job. Most people probably, there's days you love it. You're on fire. You're ready to go into work. And then there's days you're not. Now you have that push behind you because, well, if I don't go to work, I'm not going to get paid. I'll probably get fired. So you have that
Then I have a baby girl coming along. I better go to work. Yeah.
Exactly. But you have that external motivational factor for you. But when it comes to just going to the gym, I mean, at the end of the day, who's really pushing you to go? It's yourself. So that's where the mindset comes in, because your mind will continue to push you.
I do have some challenge though.
Okay.
For example, man, and I'm being very honest, I struggle with that because I have to share. Okay, this was me 10 years ago. Now I have this on my wall here. Can you believe, guys, everybody who is listening and watching, I'm holding a picture of myself shirtless and I looked hot. And I can't believe this was me. And now I look at, and I want to go back to this, but it seems like it is impossible. And I just want to share my frustration. Okay, so maybe you help me process this crap.
No, but that's actually, that's the first step of building that stronger mindset.
People who are listening to us, I mean, for example, okay, we have houses, we have a house, we have a family, people have kids. I don't have kids, but I have cats. But and I travel so much. As you know my schedule, I'm always on the road. And by the time I have free time, I am so exhausted that I just don't have the strength or the vision maybe, or the gas to get out of the chair or out of the couch and go to the gym. What do you think is happening?
So I want to go back to when you brought up that picture. That's actually the first step. Recognizing that you need to change for things to change. So the first step to building that stronger mindset is recognizing that something needs to change and that you want to change something in order for things to change. Because if you don't recognize that you're not in a spot you want to be at, then you're not going to be able to start building that stronger mindset. You're not going to be able to start getting yourself on that path to go. So you have to recognize it first. And then to actually address what you were just saying a moment ago is actually step number 2. You have to take action.
No, we are not going that fast. I am sorry.
Okay. All right.
No, it's one step at a time. I want to understand each step. So you're telling me that I need to, and I even put on the screen, I need to recognize that I need to change the things. Phil, I recognize. I even have a picture of myself on the wall. But I'm trying to understand if I'm just lazy, or if there is something else there. Maybe I haven't recognized deep enough, or that maybe that is one thing. We are having a live coaching session here, okay? But maybe I haven't recognized strong enough or deep enough that things need to change.
Yeah, I would agree. So, but you have started to recognize, but just that recognition alone isn't going to help you get there. But that's the first step to it. You have to go through the whole process. It's just like getting a paycheck, right? Just because you have the job, you are an employee somewhere, does not mean you're going to get paid. That's just the first step of having a job at a company. Next would be you actually have to go into work. You have to actually show up physically. Okay. And then third thing would actually be produce work. You have to actually be productive while you're there. And then, I guess fourth, we can make it simple. You'll finally get that paycheck.
Yeah.
But the first step is recognizing it. So just having that recognition, and you may recognize more than one thing. It doesn't have to be just one thing like you just mentioned.
I'm not
there.
trying to find excuses here.
Yeah.
But there are people here who do understand me. Look at Priscilla
Mm-hmm.
what Priscilla wrote. It is still possible, but as we age, it's harder. And I have to say, after I turned 40, and now I'm 43,
Mm-hmm.
it is, when I see somebody over 40 looking hot, looking great, I have to say, I admire them so much and I respect the hard work. Now, I'm not saying younger kids,
Mm-hmm.
younger people don't put so much work. They put a lot of the work, okay? But we, after 40s, we have this change in our bodies. We don't produce all those chemicals anymore. So we get tired more often.
Mm-hmm.
But as Priscilla said, and she understands, she knows my pain, right? It's possible, but it's so much harder as we age. So going back to, thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for that. I feel better now. So going back to the number one, to recognize that I need to change. How can you help me or help people who are listening to us to really recognize? So I'm struggling here. It feels like I haven't recognized enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's that's one of the steps later. I don't want to jump to that step, but
no. Do you want? We can move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll just mention it. We can go forward from there. But really, you have to figure out why you want to change. So you're recognizing things that you want to change, but figure out the why. Yeah, 46 and work out 6 to 7 days a week. It does get tougher. But at the same time, that's part of building that stronger mindset, is not allowing those excuses to get in the way, right? But you have to find that why behind all of this for you to keep pushing every single day.
But okay, I think we skipped a couple of steps, okay?
Definitely, like I said, I just want to mention that, but yeah, we can transition into step number 2, right? So take action today. Find one small thing that you can do every day that'll make you better. So going back to what you just mentioned about how if you travel a lot, you're always tired. This is the problem that a lot of people have, and myself included, on different areas of life, is that I feel like I have to do this huge action. I have to take massive action on something in order for it to count as I did something towards that goal. So for you with fitness, you don't have to go to the gym for 2 or 3 hours a day for it to count as you're working on your fitness level. 30 minutes. I mean, it could be 10 minutes just doing push-ups and air squats and maybe some pull-ups if you have a pull-up bar, just doing 5 sets of 10 on that. It could be something small. I mean, maybe that's really big. So maybe it's literally a 10-minute walk, because maybe you're this person that's at 600 pounds and maybe you can't walk at that. So, but wherever you're at, you have to start with where you're at. So it's the small steps that you continue to do that will get you.
And it will build up. Yes, it does make sense. I'm here thinking now, you hit a very good point. Is that sometimes we want to do, or either I do 1 or 2 hours and I don't do anything. Let me tell you, that is why sometimes we don't do anything, because we want to do 2 or 3 hours. And let me correct you. I'm not tired all the time. I'm just tired to go to the gym. It's like I am literally lazy. I gotta change that. And I give you my word, we're gonna hang up and I'm gonna go to the gym.
All right. I expect a picture of you in the gym before and after. So I know you've been there for at least a little bit.
I'll go to the gym in my backyard by the pool. So I'm gonna do push-ups and do some exercise, 1 step at a time.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it is. And people don't recognize that just taking some small steps. So like you already mentioned, like I'm not going to go spend a lot of time at the gym. I'm going to start at the apartment gym. I'm guessing it's an apartment gym, but start there at that smaller gym and just do a few things, because you have to make it something that's manageable as well, especially when you're starting a new habit and working towards a new goal. You can't, again, going back to the gym, I love this because it's so recognizable. It's something that everybody can understand. you may be able to go to the gym for 2 or 3 hours one day a week, maybe, but can you sustain that?
Yeah,
No. So, but could you
much
spend
harder. Yeah.
15 to 30 minutes every single day? More than likely, yes, or at least 5 days a week or 3 days, whatever that is. Figure out what that plan is and stick with that plan. But start small, and you can add on as you go. But starting small is the key to all of this, and of course, taking action today.
Well, I will take action. Give me my word, and I'll send you a picture. Perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. Priscilla's already on it. She's working out 6 to 7 days a week. So
That,
yeah, she's
that is
on it.
insane, right? It's almost. I felt a little embarrassed. You know.
I'm almost embarrassed too.
That is impressive. Congrats, Priscilla. That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So, but next step, it would be to find your why. So without the purpose and where you're going, you'll give up easily. And this is where the mindset over motivation comes in. So motivation,
Oh.
right? And I say it's fleeting. Motivation is fleeting, but mindset is forever. Because and this is where I guess motivation comes back in a little bit as well. But you can be motivated to try and get in shape. But what happens when you get in shape? You probably sit there and do nothing, right?
No, you
You're probably like,
enjoy
okay,
being
yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I,
I've made it. I don't need to do anything now. But we just had the Olympics that happened. Do you think the Olympians, when they got done with the Olympics, just decided to wait and they'll probably start back up in 3 years to run or swim or whatever again?
I don't think so. I think it's part of who they are. I'm sure they take a break, they eat more and all that or less, but I'm sure they take a break. But I think it becomes part of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
I want to
But
focus a
they
little bit.
continue to
I
do
want
that.
to I want to focus a little bit, Philip,
Okay.
on the word mindset.
Okay.
Because I went to look for what the word mindset means, and it means established. It means it's already established. It's a strong, okay, set of attitudes. You see, in the beginning, I thought that mindset is something in my brain, but then I realized, but mindset is a set of attitudes that I have, and what is an attitude, and how I handle something. For example, probably how I handle my lack of desire of going to the gym, how I handle my desire to eat too much, how I handle or eat too little, or handle my desire of not exercising, which is interesting. I haven't thought about that before.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a question with that? I mean,
No, I'm
okay.
just making a comment.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you're right. You have to recognize that desire and everything and recognize where your mind is at on those different areas of life. It doesn't just have to be fitness. But let's see, Priscilla said something here.
Yes. I started to wake up at around 6:30. I can't read the whole thing. Can you read for me, please? I can't see.
Yeah, I started to wake up around 6:30 to do between 4 to 5 miles and work out before I start working. What's motivated me is that I see more and better results. And that is awesome. That's incredible. So if you run 4 to 5 miles and then you go and work out, I'm guessing weight training, or I'm not sure what that workout is, but that's incredible that you're doing that. And then you go to work afterwards and probably work at least 8 hours a day. Wow, that is a lot. No, and that's yeah. So Priscilla, I bet you probably already have a pretty strong mindset. So I would be curious to know why you feel like maybe you need a stronger mindset, or what's kind of going on behind the scene. Yeah. Okay. So you weight training, that's what you do. So wow, run 4 to 5 miles and then do weight training. That's incredible. But I'm curious to know, what is it that you feel like you're lacking when it comes to mindset? Because somebody that can wake up
I
that
don't think
early,
she's lacking anything. She's even triggering my guilt.
right? Yeah, she's over here, humble brag over here. Like, I'm waking up at 6:30. I'm going to run in all these miles. I'm lifting the weights, and then I go to work and just keep working. So it's awesome that you're doing that. But I am curious to know what's going on behind the scenes there, or if you're just watching just to watch. Either way, I'm just curious about that. But I do want to go back to our step here of finding your why. And without that purpose and where you're going, you will give up easily. So for me, when I first started working out, I'll give you a scenario. When I first started working out, my why to get in better shape was for women. Okay, I wanted to get in better shape for them, and then come to find out that they really didn't even care that much. I mean, they wanted somebody that was in decent shape, but at a certain point, they didn't really care anymore. And I actually started getting more attention from guys, which is a whole nother story. But just funny. But after a while, I started doing it for me because I loved it and it's what I wanted to do. But now my why is for my future children. I want to be in great shape for my future children because I think back to when my dad, who was not in the best of shape, but growing up, we'd run from the barn back to the house and he'd race us. And he was at least in good enough shape to be able to do that. And it's just a memory that stuck with me. It's a very little one, but it's just still, it was fun and to just sit there and race your dad and just see how he'd run and he'd beat us every time. Of course, he had no mercy. But having that why and that's that strong why for me is just to keep in great shape for my future children so I can have those experiences with my children like my dad did with me. So you got to find that why.
It is a beautiful why, and maybe that's where sometimes we fail. You see, if we go to step number one, right, we recognize that we need to change. Then we actually take small actions once in a while, but they don't become consistent. Maybe they don't become consistent because I don't have real clarity. What is my why?
Yeah, going back to there's going to be days that you don't want to do it. And so, well, it'll be all right. Or I haven't really been seeing results. And you start giving yourself these excuses of why it's okay to stop. Or maybe you're seeing a little bit and then the results stopped. You stop losing the weight like you thought you were going to keep losing the weight because none of that's linear. And so you lose that why, or you don't lose that why, you lose that motivation. So that's where that deep why comes in. It can't just be looking better. I mean, that can be a part of it. That's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, if you want to keep, especially physical fitness, sustainable,
to be sustainable, the why has to be a little better.
Yes, it has to be a lot deeper. Yeah. So Dan, what is your why behind you wanting to get in better shape?
Before we go to my why, okay, it seems that what Priscilla says, just I don't struggle with the mindset. I've actually been told I'm a very strong will person. I know her personally, she is. I love hearing about the topic. So thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for
well, awesome. I'm glad you're here just listening. But I was just curious as well. I love to know what the audience is thinking, what they're trying to get out, so we can make sure that we are presenting a good message to the audience and helping you learn. So glad to have you here. And yeah, I'm glad to hear you have the strong mindset as well. It really sounds like it. So you'll probably resonate with a lot of these things. And you could probably go back and say, oh, yeah, I did do these things. I do have these things. And that's why I stay motivated to keep working out in other areas of your life as well. But Dan, what is your why behind wanting to get in better shape?
That is a good question. My why is, Philip, as you know, and people can hear in my language, I'm from Brazil. And I've been in the US. I'm sorry?
I said, you have an accent? I didn't even notice.
Let me block him. And I moved here. Next month, I celebrate 15 years. Actually, in 2 months. In October, I celebrate 15 years in the US.
Wow.
And I promised myself when I turn 40, I would be very successful. And I would be looking good. I wanted to look good. And I turned 40 and I became very successful. But I don't feel like I'm looking good. I mean, I look good compared to guys my age, but I don't look nearly as good as I wanted to look, as I feel I want to look. So my why is, and it's not about because I want to look good. I want to be healthy. I want to live many, many years. In my family, we have a little family history, which is kind of sad. Nobody lives to be more than 64 years old. My father died, he was 53. My mother died when she was 64. And that's it. Everybody dies at a very young age. And of course, it's health issues and this and that. And I live a much healthier life. I'm very careful with what I eat. I am careful with what I drink. I don't go to the gym anymore, but I run a couple of days a week. but I do want to look in the mirror and feel really proud of myself. I do, I want to look and
Hmm.
say, wow, man, wow, you look good, you look hot, look at you. And maybe other people don't need that, but I do need, I want.
Hmm.
So maybe my why is I want to live many, many years. And I do want to be proud of myself for looking good. Uh, uh, some people might say, but that's a little shallow, right? But it's my why. So I will go back into having more clarity on how powerful. Maybe my why is not that powerful. I'm here questioning, right?
Hmm.
Maybe I should find a more powerful why. So I'll be thinking about this. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, I think those are powerful whys. I think you can dig deeper into those. With you want to be proud of yourself for having put in that work with the good looking physique, right? Looking hot. Everybody wants to look good, and if you can be proud of that and know that anytime you're ready to be in without a shirt on, right? You're ready to go hit the pool because you've prepared yourself for that. I think it's a great why to
Are
have,
you,
and
you
also.
see? Thank you. And I
Yeah,
feel the
yeah,
same
that's
way.
not
Yeah.
that's not shallow at all. Like, I mean, to me, people consider that to be shallow. Now, if that's the only thing you focused on, yes, that would be shallow.
Yeah,
But
but
there's
it's,
more
yeah.
to that. That's not the only part of your life. It's not like you're going to literally sit there and count every calorie you're eating and all you do is work out. Like, you have other things you do. So I don't think that's shallow at all. To me, that goes back to other people with weaker mindsets and they want to bring you down, and because they see that you're willing to put in that work that they're not willing to put in, and so they're actually envious of you. And so I would not say that's shallow at all, since that's not your only motivating factor and the only thing that you do. The other
Thank you,
why.
sir. I'll take it.
Yeah. The other why, I love that one as well. I think you could dig deeper into that because, of
Uh-huh.
course, I mean, we all want to live longer, right? But why exactly do you want to live longer? And to find out what that is. So I think you could go back, and that could be your homework as well. Besides going to the gym today, right after this, is figuring out why exactly you want to live longer. And I think it has to do with a lot of what you do outside of your full time job as well. I know you do the meditations and you really help people with their psychology and help them be a better person and figure out what may be going wrong with them. And that's part of that. Because if you only live to be 64 at max, that's not too many more years. I mean, think about it. As you said, you're 43, right?
Oh, you are helping me a lot. I appreciate your business, sir. Security, take the muscle boy out of my podcast.
So 23 more years. I mean, you think about it like that. A lot of us don't think of things in that way. That, average age, let's say
No, I'm
80
done with
years
you. I have
old.
to work out right now.
But so you have 23 more years according to family history, right, for you to live. So how can you live those the best way? And part of that for you is getting in that better shape to have be more proud of yourself, but then also that'll help push those numbers out. So it won't be 23 more years, it'll be 30 more years or 35 or wherever it gets to, because you are taking care of your health.
It does make sense. You painted a very good picture, so and I appreciate that. It
Yeah.
is
So
true.
go back and figure out exactly what that why is. And that'll help open up a lot of doors. And that'll bring in, without it really being motivating, because your mindset pushes you through to that, but it'll still be a motivating factor for you for those days that you don't want to work out. Because you're like, no, I'm doing this so I can live longer, to help people be better, whatever it may be. But that's what you need to think about the days that you don't want to do the work.
There is an exercise that I do in my work in positive psychology or coaching. And I like to take people back in time. They choose, and I will do the exercise with you at the end. This is an exercise I will do with every single guest I have, and he doesn't know this. It's a surprise. And I will be doing this exercise as well. I ask people to choose if they want to travel back in time if they want to travel back in time, or if they want to travel into the future.
Mm,
And the goal for this exercise is for people to really visualize where they are, either to become
mm,
more grateful and thankful, or to find the strength to make the changes they need to make. And as I look into the future, like you said, as I look, and usually I like to take people into the past so they become grateful for what they have. And I like to take people into the future so they find the strength to
Hmm.
keep doing or to make the changes they need to make. And the exercise, the examples you just gave and shared gave me the chance to quickly travel myself, take myself into the future and say, you know what, maybe that's the why I need to have more clarity on that why. And I ask you guys who are listening to us, okay, if you are going through any situation and you are struggling a lot to find the gas or the strength to make the changes or to make the steps, go into the future. Look at yourself 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and you're going to see that painting that futuristic picture will help you say, you know what? I better get my ass out of this chair and do something. Either you might be struggling in a relationship, you might be struggling at work, or with a family situation, or the money or something. Doing the simple exercise of going into the future, it will help you have more clarity on this why. So thank you, sir. Thank you for that. What do you
Yes.
believe is number 4? Step number 4.
Step number 4 is to be patiently aggressive.
Mhm.
So be patiently aggressive with your goals. Why I say patiently first is
Oh,
because
okay.
we are
Patiently aggressive with
all
your goals.
yeah, yes, be patiently aggressive with your goals, with that with that stronger mindset. You have to keep building it, and you have to be aggressive with building that stronger mindset, but you have to be patient as well and realize that it's going to take time. So you have to have that patience overall, but don't sit there and wait. Okay, well, it's going to take me a while to get it to work out. So I'll just be patient and I'll just lay back and just kind of do the work. No, you need to really do the work. Get in there and kill it. Be grinding it out if need be, or whatever that is, doing those small steps continuously and waiting patiently until those small steps actually build that strong mindset. Even myself, I'm guilty of this, that I get so impatient about everything. I want it to happen now. I want the strong mindset now. I want the goals to happen. I want my life to be where I want it to be in 10 years from now, tomorrow. And I need to keep working towards that. So that's where that aggressiveness comes in. But I need to be patient and realize that it will take that time. So you have to be aggressive and keep working for it,
I,
but be patient.
I think this is, Philip, is a very important thing, and maybe we can stop right here and go deeper here.
Yeah.
Because once I read something that really was interesting for me. I don't remember. I read it in Portuguese, so I'm going to do my best to translate. And it said something like this: I admire the one who finally understands that between the seeding and the harvest, there is the taking care and the growing, something like that. You see,
Mm.
between you seed, you plant something, and you have a chance to harvest that something. There is all this time and process and hard work and patience. And right now, I think, because everything is so fast, right? We can FaceTime, we get a text, we text somebody. The moment the text is blue or it says delivered, and if we don't see a message, then we see red, that so the person read the message, and we don't get a reply 3 seconds later, we are pissed, we are aggravated, we are
Hmm.
feeling ignored. And this is so, and if we take this mindset or this perspective to everything we do in life, it becomes so challenging.
Yeah. And so what you're basically saying is like planting a crop, right? So if you can't plant corn and expect it the next day just to grow, it takes time. There's a process behind it. You have to continue to water it and fertilize it and everything. Of course, neither one of us are farmers, but it takes that time for it to
In a
finally
way, we are.
get.
We are farmers in life. We are planting and seeding and
This is
harvesting our
true.
dreams, our lives, our behaviors, and all that.
This is true. But yeah, the mindset, the goals that you have are like that crop. You have to plant the seed and start working on it and letting the time and the work that you put in work through till you finally see the produce, the outcome from that. So I saw you had Priscilla's comment up there.
Yes, let me find it. Yeah. And she mentioned this, like she said, there is a process for me. Without that patience, it will not work. You will become frustrated. Then emotions will take over, and then we get stuck and we go back. And this is interesting because every time the emotions take over, especially frustration in this case, lack of patience, we go back to what is familiar. And what is familiar to you, it's very unique what is familiar to each person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like whenever we're dieting, we're so good on that diet, and then finally Saturday comes, or maybe Friday night, and man, it's just been such a tough week. I've kind of seen a little bit of progress, but maybe not too much. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and have some dessert at supper tonight or whatever, and you go off that diet. And then you regret it the next day. Instead of being patient and trusting the process and continuing on the path, you decide to just derail it just because you hadn't seen those results yet. So you really have to be patient, but patiently aggressive.
I like that. Very good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
What is the next one? Number 5.
So this kind of sums it all up, but do the work consistently. The small wins will add up. So it goes back a little bit to number 2 about finding those small things that you do, but doing the small things consistently. We all know about compounding interest, right? That's what I think Einstein said is the eighth wonder of the world, something like that. So I'll give an analogy here. Would you, and I'll ask you this question, Dan, would you rather have a penny that doubles every day for 30 days or $1 million today?
I would rather get $1 million today. Maybe I gave you the wrong answer, but a penny who doubles every 30 days, I'm not good in math.
Yeah, so that's a tricky question. That's good. That's good. I appreciate you. So most people would say that because up front, that immediate gratification, you get $1 million today.
It's a tricky question.
But believe it or not, 1 penny doubling every day. So 1 cent, 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, right? At 28 days, it's $1.3 million. 29 days, it's about it's about $3.5–4 million, something like that. And at 30 days, it's a little over $10 million.
Your calculations are weird. I want to talk to you about this offline.
I put it in my book, so I kind of know the numbers. And then but this is what doing something small. There you go, man. I don't know how you had that, but doing something small will add up to be something great over time, and this is where that consistency.
But you lied to me. It starts with the book says, okay, let's clean the air here.
All right.
The book says you started on day 1 with $1 million. In my mind, I started with 0. No, when you ask me the question, if I start with $1 million, okay, now I understand. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, so you have to either start with $1 million on day 1, and that's all you get, or have a penny that doubles every day for 30 days.
Now I get a penny. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Because so day 1 you get a penny. I mean,
yes.
Who wants a penny, right? Nobody wants one single penny.
Page 42.
And you think, what's that?
Page 42 in the book.
Right. so if nobody wants a penny and especially one that doubles every day, you're just thinking, okay, it's just another penny, or now it's 2 pennies, it's 4 pennies, 8 pennies, 16, so on and so forth. I'd rather just have the $1 million. Give me the $1 million today. But putting in that work is the same exact thing. So putting in the work to build that stronger mindset to get to that goal, whatever it is, but putting in that work consistently, just the small little actions will end up getting you to where you want. And in this case, 10 times what you got by just being given it.
That's why we have to I want to read what you wrote in the book here. This is interesting. You said this on page 41. What consistent actions will do for you. Consistency. It is one of those things we hear about a lot, but never seem to understand just how powerful it can be. It's so powerful, in fact, that is one of the biggest factors outside of time spent that separates those who haven't done much from those who have done a lot. A big reason why a lot of people aren't consistent is because it isn't sexy. This is interesting.
Mhm.
Who really wants to keep doing something with such little return? After all, we live in a world of immediate gratification. But then I ask you, how do I go against this natural idea, natural tendency we have right now of we want very quickly? And I
Mhm.
share this, Philip, because there are days that I think, I really back to the gym, right? I really want to go to the gym. But then, do you know, mentally, then in my mind comes a little voice that says, oh boy, it's going to take you years to get in good shape. And I'm being very honest here. There are days that I'm full. Okay, now today is the day.
Mhm.
Then I am getting my shoes, I'm putting my shorts, and say, oh, gosh, it's going to take me a year to get in good shape. And in that moment, boof, my desire goes away. How can I fight that?
That's where we go back to step 3 with your why. So you have to find your
Oh,
why, because if you don't have that why, that's exactly what happens. You just say, "Well, why am I doing this? I don't understand. I'm just tired. I don't feel like doing these things," and you give up. But if you have that strong enough why, you're going to keep going, and you have to continue to go back and think about that. You can't just have it in mind when you get started, and that's where you sit at. And that's why you have to have these 5 steps to build that stronger mindset, because they all add on to each other. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like we put it in
mhm.
here to teach it. But you have to have that why for you to be able to keep going no matter what.
It seems to me now, okay, understood, because as I listen to you, I
Mhm.
try to apply that into myself and I try to understand myself better. I
Mhm.
think the key here might be number 3, having clarity around your why. And I
Mhm.
wrote some questions here. We are doing some coaching here. And I wrote why, and you asked me
I have
that,
to charge you after this.
why do you want to live? Yeah, why do you want to live longer? And I asked, how many years do I want to live?
Mm.
And what would it take for me to get there?
Mm.
I think that will give me more clarity around my why. So thank you for that, sir.
For sure. And I know some of us have children, or, I'll be having a daughter here soon. I've heard a lot of people say you have 18 summers with them. And really, a couple of those, they don't really count because they're too young to really do anything, or they don't remember. So maybe you only have like 14 or 15 summers with them before they go off to school, or they go directly into the workforce, and they're no longer your child that's not an adult. Obviously there's so many child, but they're an adult now. So you have 18 summers, 18 years to spend with them of their life. And that's if you're lucky, you're fortunate enough to be alive long enough to parent them that long. As we know, some people have lost their parents at a very young age. But think about that. I mean, I just I got some chills thinking about that with my own situation. But you have to keep that in mind, that there's only so much time that we have here on this earth. And then it's not even promised on top of that. Right. So
Yeah.
it's huge motivator there.
Thank you, sir. And it goes back to even to what Priscilla wrote. I think that the longer you wait to start anything, the longer will
It
take
will
for the
take
result.
for the
Yeah,
results. Right.
yeah. This is interesting. Thank you.
And I think that Priscilla, that comment actually kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier, that in your 40s and later, that it's harder to get in shape, and it takes much more effort to do that. And so that's another thing, and gives me an analogy. When's the best time to uh, start or plant a tree? Really, 20 years ago was the best time to start, or today. And I know I butchered that a little bit, but basically, it's better to have built a tree 20 years ago, because now in present day, if you planted it 20 years ago, it would be a tree but at least start today if you didn't start 20 years ago. So same thing with fitness, building that stronger mindset, going after those goals. Yeah, you can live in regret that you didn't start 10, 15, 20 years ago, or you can just start today, because there's no better time than to start now.
That is true. Thank you, sir. Excellent. So moving forward, so let's do a quick recap. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You said step number 1. Can you remind us, please?
Recognize that you need to change for things to change.
Step number 2.
Take action today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Find one small thing, at least one, you can find a couple if you want, that you can do every day that'll make you better.
Excellent. Then we go to number 3. I think for me, number 3 is the most important one.
Find your why. And I would agree. This is probably the most important one, because that's going to help you get out of that motivation factor. Well, I guess it is motivating, but it's not something that's fleeting. It helps push your mindset to be stronger. But find your why, because without purpose in where you're going, you will give up easily.
Number 4.
Be patiently aggressive.
I had a problem with that when we were talking. I said, what do you mean the whole aggressive thing? It triggered me a little bit, but then I understood what you meant. Yes, be patiently aggressive towards your goals. Excellent. And number 5, sir.
Do the work consistently. The small wins will add up, just like that penny doubling every day.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to say hi to my nephew, Enrique, in Brazil. All right. Okay, we have a question here. Okay, what did it say? Priscilla said her favorite, number 4 is her favorite one. Mine is number 3. Okay, we have a question here from Lost My Hope. Okay, how to change negative thoughts. This is quite interesting.
That's a good question.
Any
Did you have an answer to that, Dan?
Oh, I do. I do this for a living.
I'll let you go first then.
Okay,
I've been talking a lot.
How you change negative thoughts. First, I think you should embrace them. I think any thoughts that come to your mind, they have a message. You see, but sometimes we try to ignore, pretend they are not there. No, if they are there, they have something to say. So you embrace them, you say hi, and then you question them. What you can do, man, you can start talking to those thoughts, engage in a conversation, but be very aware that if you engage in the conversation might become negative. So what you do, you make an effort to take that conversation into a positive conversation. How you do that, it's not that complicated. You imagine that you are talking to someone else, and you imagine that those thoughts are someone else. And now you start giving yourself advice, positive advice, as if you're talking to someone else. I'll give an example, okay? You are about to go to do a test, or to have an important presentation, or you have to have that conversation, and you are feeling quite insecure, or you are feeling very, very lonely, and the negative thoughts come to your mind. What you do, they are already there, so you're going to have to acknowledge them. And I would welcome them. And then suddenly you switch. And how you do this, you start saying this. Like, let's say your name is Dan, like me, okay? And you say, Dan, literally you tell yourself in your head, as if you're talking to someone else, Dan, man, you are doing so well. Look how many great things you have in your life. And then you start telling yourself, as if you were someone else, all the good things you have in your life. And you might say, I don't have a lot of good things, but look for the ones you have. 2 or 3 would be enough. There is a brand new research out of Harvard that says that to fight negative thoughts, or to fight very intense negative emotions, you start having a conversation with yourself. And in that conversation, you start engaging into positive, I just said positive, Philip, help me here.
I'm not
Give advice. You will start giving yourself positive advice in the third person. So how do you, Philip, deal with negative thoughts?
So I really like what you said, and that's actually one of the things I was going to talk about is really flipping it. I like that you mentioned about recognizing that negative thought, but then flipping that as well to make it something more positive. So something else that you could do with that is start using gratitude. So gratitude is things that you're grateful for, things that you're thankful for in your life. Because it's very hard to be negative. It's very hard to be down on yourself if you constantly are thinking about the great things that have happened in your life. And it could be something small. It could be just, I'm thankful for another day. I'm thankful for having this meal here. I'm thankful for the friends that I have in my life. You can start small like that. And then you can also get very granular, really go into detail. And I would suggest going into as much detail as possible. I can easily say, I'm thankful for my wife. Okay, that's great. But I'm thankful for my wife because she loved the love and support that she gives me. Make it deeper, make it that much deeper so you can really be grateful for that. Because if you stay grateful, you can't be negative, or it's a lot harder for you to be negative if you're constantly thinking about positives in your life.
There is another thing you can do. Um, if you are those having those negative thoughts, you can go to YouTube and watch very funny videos. I
Hmm.
know that when you are in that negativity, you want to listen to sad songs. Do not do that. If you are having negative thoughts, don't listen to sad songs. Don't watch sad movies. Flip the coin. So what you do, go to YouTube and go to Comedy Center. Go to not Comedy Center, go to a comedy, go to a comedian, to go to watch movies, or like I go to Instagram, and there are very funny things, that those memes, those like funny short videos on Instagram, and I laugh my ass off, and instantly you are switching, because
Hmm.
you are helping your brain to recover. Your brain doesn't want to be there, so you have to help your brain. So again, funny videos, avoid sad movies, avoid sad songs. Though, like, people feel sad, they have negative thoughts, and they go and listen to a romantic music, they start crying. Don't do that. Okay, go the opposite.
Hmm.
Oh, Priscilla said go to TikTok. Perfect.
Right.
Anything that makes you laugh. Okay, as we are coming to an end here, Philip, you mentioned to me that you had the 5 steps, then you
Hmm.
had a bonus. What is the bonus, sir?
All right. So find things that challenge you, both physically and mentally. Now, why do I say this? I think Priscilla could really speak on this. One thing for me is pushing myself to run an extra half mile or an extra mile, because when you're pushing yourself beyond the limit that you have, your mind automatically starts telling you, oh, no, it'll be all right. You don't need to do this. But you push yourself through that, especially on a physical aspect. Is for me when I ran 3 miles today. I got 2 miles in that third mile, I was like, oh, you can walk. It'll be all right. Nobody's going to know. It is kind of hot. Maybe you shouldn't do this. And all of these things I was fighting myself on. But because I put myself in that situation, which is obviously not detrimental, I was by no means about to pass out or anything because I was pushing myself that hard. But I would put myself in a safe situation that I pushed myself mentally. So that way, when I do need to push myself mentally later, I know I can go there. I know I can get past that point that I'm at right now. So, whatever thing that is in life that you're trying to build a stronger mindset around, keep applying other ways and finding other things to challenge yourself to keep growing that mindset. Just like a muscle, the only way for that muscle to get bigger is to tear it down so it can build back up. You can't keep lifting the same 5 pound weight, curling the same 5 pound weight, and expect your muscle to get bigger. Eventually you have to go up to 10 pounds. And so this is that same thing to build that stronger mindset, is find new ways to stretch your mindset to help it grow more and more.
Beautiful, excellent. Can you read Priscilla's comments? Then we
Yeah.
are going to wrap up.
All right, Priscilla, he said, yes, for me, it is the same to go. to go to the next step. And it's an awesome feeling when you see you can always do more. Exactly. And so that's what helps you as well. I love that comment there. It helps you be able to push on because you realize and start recognizing as you do this over and over again, the challenging yourself in some way, that you're going to enjoy it on the other side. It always sucks in the moment. It doesn't matter if you love it or not. Whenever you don't want to do something and you do it, it sucks in the moment, but you are thankful and you feel awesome that you did it when you're on the other side of it.
Thank you, sir. And lost my hope wrote is effective subconscious mind reprogramming. Now you're speaking my language. And yes, I love this. I love this kind of topic. You are correct, sir. That's very effective and it is quite important. So, Mr. Philip, what are your final words, sir? Please.
I just say for everybody, go out there and really challenge yourself to build that stronger mindset. Recognize what it is that you want and find that why and take small actions. Be patiently aggressive, but take those small actions and be consistent with it. Because the worst thing you can do is not be consistent. I'll take it back real quick to that penny analogy. If we started a penny and doubled every day, but then you stopped for 5 days within that 30-day period and then it's picked back up, you would be way under $1 million. I don't know where you'd be at, but you would be under $1 million by a lot because you stopped for a few days. And that's exactly what happens with your mindset. You almost start back over because now you're having to go back through and build back up all that momentum. So don't let that momentum go. Keep going and being consistent.
Thank you, sir. 1 hour flew by. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your advices. Thank you for the book. Thank you for the tips. And I hope I get to see you here more often. And
yes, I'd love to come back on.
Perfect. I want to remind everyone that this show is called You Ask For It, which means you can send me your questions, you can send me your comments, and I will find the right guest to help me answer those comments and answer those questions. I do have to say thanks to everyone, especially to Philip. And I want to say thank you for everybody who participated here. And I also want to say that next week, it's going to be very, very interesting as well, because I am going to be bringing somebody who I have a lot of respect. Okay. She wrote a book called Epiphany, A Journey to Self-Discovery. And she also lives in Greenville, where you live, Philip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And her name is Giovanna Burgess Gathers. She is amazing. And she is going to tell us, she's going to share with us her journey of self-discovery. I have to say, Philip, don't feel bad, okay? But I have to say, I read 1 book a week, sometimes when I'm lazy, 2-3 books a month. And her book has been one of the best books I read in a long time.
I'm going to have to get off this live now.
Oh, no. How does that feel? Okay. And I am very excited to have her with us next week. So if you have any questions, please feel free to join us next week. Philip, once again, sir, thank you so much. Okay, and I see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you.